what it is. Or what's up?
What's up?
Got your nigga in the cup.
Goddamn.
Hello everyone, I just wanted to start this video with a thank you for the support on my first video. I started this channel because I felt like I had no voice in my life where my opinion was valid and really meant something, and seeing the support, it just really means a lot. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening and giving feedback. Furthermore, like the title of this video says, this is a part 2. So if you want the full context, go check out that video. Keep in mind it's a little bit more serious than my first video. So if that's not your thing, I'll have more joke-oriented videos coming up next. Last time we discussed how witnesses' view on homosexuality, going over how it isn't a lifestyle, how other animals besides humans have displayed it. We talked about their stance on marriage in general and how it could really hurt someone. We also talked about the lack of self-awareness Irene displayed when she spoke about pushing beliefs. When she in the same series preached her sister so much she had to manipulate her way to talking to her to preach. What we didn't really touch on in that video is political neutrality. Today it will be discussed how that could also really hurt someone, as well as the Watchtower's hypocrisy. But before we get into that, please make sure to like and subscribe. Now let's get into it.
Great discussion today, everyone. Remember, midterms are this Friday. No excuses. That includes you, Jordan. You were noticeably silent during our discussion today, Olivia.
I was. I guess I just didn't have much to say.
Really, nigga?
Aren't you concerned about gay rights?
Well, it seems like a political issue, and I stay neutral when it comes to political stuff.
For those who don't know, Jehovah's Witnesses don't align themselves in political matters. This includes, but not limited to, wars, voting, and protesting. Let us discuss Watchtower's hypocrisy and how they have even gotten people killed because of their political neutrality. From 1992 to 2001, the Watchtower organization was a NGO, or a non-government organization under the United Nations. This is highly hypocritical regarding what they have said about the United Nations and the religion that were in support of it. In the 1980 for Watchtower, all Israel saved to bless all mankind, they stated.
No, the UN is not a blessing. Even though the religious clergy of Christendom and the rabbis of Jewry pray heaven's blessing upon that organization, it is really the image of the wild beast, the visible political, commercial organization of the god of this system of things, Satan the devil. So, the UN will soon be destroyed along with that beastly organization.
3 years later, they have stated in the Watchtower, on guard against peace and security as devised by nations.
The United Nations is actually a worldly confederacy against Jehovah God and his dedicated witnesses on earth. It is really a conspiracy, with the worldly nations getting their heads together and scheming up what they may do against the visible organization of Jehovah God on earth.
But the United Nations is more than just some silly government entity Watchtower doesn't like. You see, Watchtower interprets it as the scarlet beast of Revelation, the one that is a mount to false religion herself, Babylon the Great. Do you see why it's so hypocritical? That Watchtower was once one of these despite all they have said about the UN and false religion. This is faith-destroying, but sadly the average witness does not know about this. And why would they? Control is the name of the game for cults like this. It's tragic.
Trigger warning for those sensitive to this subject.
Unfortunately, Watchtower's hypocrisy doesn't just end at this. Like I said before, it's cost people their lives. In Malawi, all because the witnesses there didn't buy a political card. They were subjected to some of the worst crimes a human can go through. Watchtower would continue to double down and say Jesus's followers are no part of the world. Saying this while some of God's servants were kings is nothing short of disgusting. But there is more. Around the same time in Mexico, military service was required by Mexican law. When completed, they would be given a card. It was required for getting a driver's license and a passport. Witnesses were being harassed and put in prison for their refusal to serve. So, what would the governing body do? They would order them to bribe officials so that they could get the card, so that they didn't have to serve. Yes, the situation in Malawi was entirely avoidable. All those lives lost, and it did not need to happen, and just to rub salt in the eye. Watchtower would make a movie inspired by the events in Malawi, called Commit Your Way to Jehovah. Do you see why I speak out about these things? It's truly disturbing. This is why I say the governing body. Hell, the organization has blood on their hands. And the fact that a lot of people know nothing about this is disgusting. This is why activism for this is important. To tell people the disgusting actions and the lives ruined by this cult. Now that we discussed that, let us continue with the video.
Stuff.
But it's not a political issue. This is a human rights issue.
This is true. Human rights shouldn't be downplayed as mere political squabble. These people have a right to be comfortable in their own skin and to marry who they please.
Hey, Mr. Dallas, she's like crazy religious.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Also true, but please do not use religion as a means for your prejudice.
You don't understand. Jehovah's Witnesses hate everybody that isn't straight.
That's not true.
Stop the cap.
We don't hate anyone.
I was gonna discuss this at a later date. But yes, witnesses do hate people. Witnesses have this weird thing against Catholics, and yes, they also hold prejudice to gay people. As you will see later in this video, even worldly people witnesses will dunk on, as if they are less intelligent at times, cause they feel like they have the truth. This is what I call the witness ego. I'm gonna also say these aren't all witnesses obviously, but it happens frequently enough to notice.
I've spoken with your people before. They seem big on equality.
No, women do not have the same privileges as men in the organization.
We are. The Bible says God isn't partial, so we believe that everyone should be treated fairly.
Good. So, I assume you have gay members in your church?
No, we don't.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What a slap in the face. Yes, the org will not admit it, but they do have gay members. It's just a shame they can't be who they are, though. But, like, picture this. You've foregone any marriage you may want to have and dedicated your life to this religion. And then you hear we don't have gay members again. What a slap to the face. That line is why I made these two videos in the first place.
But I thought you just said everyone should be treated equal. I'm confused.
Same.
Ah, called it.
Jordan, don't you have a class to get to? As I was saying, how is that not a little hypocritical? Saying that you love everyone and then excluding certain people.
He has a point.
Honestly, Mr. Dallas, I wondered the same thing.
Okay. And?
Admittedly, when I first watched this video, I almost burst out laughing at this line. Mr. Dallas is.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Anyway.
Well, I researched it in the Bible, and I realized that God accepts all people, but he doesn't accept all conduct.
So, if he accepts all people, then why did you say there are no gay members? Oh, whatever, I stopped trying to apply logic to these ninnies.
What does that mean?
It means that you can't be abusing drugs, you can't be stealing, or being violent and still be a witness. There's just certain actions that God just doesn't accept.
I'm sorry for pausing a lot, but how is stealing, abusing drugs, and being violent comparable to having sex with the same sex?
Including how someone expresses their sexuality?
The GOAT!
In some cases, yes, we follow God's standards. not having sex without being married.
Well, if that's how you feel, that's your right. Personally, it seems a tad archaic to me.
Same.
But to each their own.
Hey. Hey. Does the Bible really say all that?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Maybe you could show me sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Well, ladies and gents and people in between, that will be the end of this departer. I hope you all have a great day and enjoyed this video. The next one will be a lot less serious. That's me logging off for today. Goodbye.